What is going on, everybody? I hope you guys are all having an okay Saturday. If it's Sunday where you are at, I hope you are having an okay Sunday as well. All right, wanted to hop in today. There's been tons of announcements that have come out recently. Today's kind of going to run the gamut here with adoption. But looking at the market right now, this is the monthly chart. We talked about that 19.5-ish level closing as support right now. So the market is obviously teetering on a critical level of support right now. If we start breaking down below this 19.5 level, or if we have confirmation candles below this level, we will certainly be visiting, some lows. It'll be interesting to watch how this plays out. I took a look briefly at the total crypto market cap and the total crypto cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, recently as well. Kind of the same thing across the board here. Everything's pretty much sitting on previous all-time highs. It will be interesting to watch what happens over the next couple of weeks, etc. But I did want to get into this. So I found this today. This is the Royal Bank of Canada. If you're not aware, Royal Bank of Canada is a multinational financial services company, the largest bank in Canada by market capitalization. 16 million clients and more than 86,000 employees. Why is it interesting that they have 16 million clients? Well, they're rolling out this patent that is essentially entitled Secure Processing of Electronic Payments. This patent started in 2015 and then essentially filed by the Royal Bank of Canada back in April of this year and publicized in May. Still pending, obviously, but what did I say, 16 million? They're talking about mobile point of sale systems, essentially your cell phone or your tablets, potentially participating in or being associated with public ledgers such as blockchains. In some embodiments, those mobile point of sale systems, aka your cell phones or other trusted devices, may be established as nodes or validators on blockchain ledger systems. In such an implementation, these mobile point of sale systems or your cell phones may route transaction data sets securely from merchant systems while complying with applicable blockchain/public ledger protocols. They are very much so tying in DLT into the system. It is just a matter of time. You can see that the largest bank in Canada by market capitalization, literally talking about potentially using your cell phone as a validator on a blockchain network, routing it through merchant terminals, etc. Certainly digitization, certainly we're all going to be tied into this system. Mobile point of sale system, if you're not aware, is otherwise known as an MPOS or point of sale application, turning a smartphone or a tablet into a cash register, allowing merchants to accept payments virtually anywhere. All you need is a device. Interesting that the Royal Bank of Canada is rolling that out. All right. Wanted to get into this. Wrath of Kahneman, obviously a monster for Ripple and XRP research, posting yesterday that the government of Colombia, launching their first national land registry on the XRP ledger. This is via Purism. Thank you to Cameron Long FI for pointing this out. Suspect we'll hear more soon. Not only a fascinating use, but there is some juicy stuff at the end of that video. You can see it right here. This is through Bitcoinist, so take it with a grain of salt. But Colombia launching national land registry on XRPL and how quote-unquote Ripple made that happen. But it's using XRP stamp technology, apparently. The solution has been implemented for land agency and is based on xrpstamp.com, which allows to register digital assets on the XRP ledger, verify their authenticity with a QR code. The solution is going to register 100,000 plus adjudications in a short term to guarantee confidence for Colombia. This is the Purism technology organization if you want to pay attention to them. I saw this today as well. This is the council overview from Hedera. I think this just came out yesterday or maybe today. But what's interesting on here, and I'll post this link for you guys, if you want to take a look, just governance decisions. I haven't really seen a ton about this, but talking about council terms with up to 2 consecutive terms, etc. Talking about council elections, talking about renewal terms, member removal for cause. Really interesting kind of mechanisms within the governing council of Hedera Hashgraph. If you guys are interested in that, feel free to take a look. Now, we're going to get into regulation because we have seen quite a bit recently. So this is the European Council essentially this European Crypto Assets Regulation, or MiCA. Now, the Council presidency and the European Parliament have reached a provisional agreement on the markets in crypto assets. What I found interesting in this, and this is a big announcement, by the way, I think, but talking very much so about declaring information for actors in the crypto asset space, having to declare information on their environmental and climate footprint. We're talking about the Green Initiative. We will see that in a second here. But this is the way that this goes. I mean, if it's not green, I don't know how it sustains over time. It'll be interesting to watch shake out. There's a little bit more on this in this video as well. Also saw Congressional Research dealing in cryptocurrency and 401k or retirement plans. Now, this is this Vision 2025. This is through the World Economic Forum. Very much so about greening the future financial system. Now, if we're paying attention into this, they literally talk about daily that the transition to a lower carbon economy requires a large rewiring of the global economy, with 3.5 trillion of investments, needed annually, needed annually for decades. So $3.5 trillion of investment will be needed annually for this green transition, and that will have to occur annually for decades. The shift to net zero will depend on a policy framework and companies and investors also seizing the opportunities and navigating the risks of a complex transition. Key to the long-term 2050 net zero targets. The one document that I found, and I'm not going to present it in this, which was very interesting, is from the Internet to the Interledger by, I think it was Alex Pentland, who worked with Ripple years ago, and he was with MIT and all these blockchain initiatives. There is certainly going to be a rewiring of the global economy. It's already occurring right now, but it doesn't happen all at once. Certain aspects get hit first. I think payments, settlements, interoperability from these financial institutions, we're really going to start seeing fleshed out between 2024 and 2026. And I have a reasoning for that as well. All right, before we get into that, the app gap and supply chains. This is this Purism project and what's ahead for this Librem 5. Now, this is a version of Linux Pure OS that is running on something other than Android or iOS. It was interesting to me today because it appears that this Purism is also utilizing potentially Interledger by partnering with a group that is funding Interledger, at least that's what's in the article, an open payment network federation system. If you're interested in checking out Purism, feel free to go to pureos.net. All right, Standard Chartered, putting out literally that the digital and tactical product expansion within Standard Chartered for their strategic priorities, and we've talked about this multiple times, is to develop capabilities for starting cryptocurrency trading and custody services. Now, if you read the LightHouse report aspect, or maybe, and I even talked about it before, Standard Chartered had partnered with Northern Trust to launch Zodia, which is an institutional grade crypto custody platform. Zodia just recently integrated with Fireblocks. Thousands of digital assets or cryptos involved, but Standard Chartered literally telling you that they're going to be developing capabilities, and some of those I'm sure are already developed, starting with cryptocurrency, not only custody, but trading services. And then on the back of that, you've got Credit Suisse talking about their 2024, let me see if I can find it here because I had a ton of stuff open, select regulatory developments since 2010. This is talking about the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision. So these are powerhouse central banks across the entire globe, which we'll get into here. A treatment for crypto assets, the regulations for crypto assets, and you have that 2024 timeframe from a lot of these central banks. Interesting time frame, right? Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, the institutions that represent that include multitudes of central banks or central banking authorities. Central Bank of Australia, the Fed is in here, the Reserve Bank of Australia, Belgium, Brazil, the Bank of Canada, China, European Central Bank, the Bank of France. You get the picture, right? Now, if we move forward in this, the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, just over the past 2 days or so, literally that same organization with all those powerhouses talking about introduction of an exposure limit within these central banking entities, enabling a bank's total exposure to crypto assets as 1% of tier 1 capital. You get into tier 1 capital of leading banks worldwide and start adding the numbers up, and a lot of these numbers are certainly tied in with the BCBS, or the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. You can kind of understand where we're at in the crypto market, at least for some sort of a benchmark, but it's still huge. Who would have thought that we're saying now that, this prudential regulation coming out from the Basel Committee, literally saying that, banks can hold up to 1% of tier 1 capital in crypto assets. It's very, 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 very interesting, and it's a very different rhetoric shift than what we've seen over the past handful of years here. Also, I saw this today, and I've talked about them before. This is a smaller organization, but they seem to be tied into a lot of organizations. This is Hashcash, bridging banking and fintech with white label blockchain solutions. You can go on to Hashcash Consultants if you want to. Talking about eliminating Swift, using Swift-like blockchain-based messaging, which integrates seamlessly with current infrastructure. They have a ton of partners, by the way. I wonder if it's in here. I had it up earlier, but I would recommend looking into their partners. There are some really big names for Hashcash, but I haven't seen a ton about them. But they do have interoperability with things like Ripple, etc. And settlement or entire process of coming into consensus on the network occurs approximately every 3 to 5 seconds. Hashcash does have their own native token, which is HCX. 100 billion max supply and like 52 billion are not circulating. It's just the numbers are interesting. The interoperability mechanisms are interesting. There's probably some more stuff within Hashcash. I would recommend looking into it if you guys have time. Last but not least, talk a little bit about Zenfin here. Impel launching a next-gen alternative to Swift, SEPA on the XDC network. Impel's services will run on the XDC network, a top 100 enterprise-ready hybrid blockchain project ready for global trade and finance. This is talking about securely sending ISO 20022 compliant financial messages. Talks about using XDC as collateral for instant settlement and a bridge to R3 Corda's platform for future-facing or future-proofed banks and financial technology companies. If you want to check out Impel, I certainly recommend that you do, but it looks like it's very much so underpinned by XDC with no plans for Impel to launch their own token. It says so in the FAQs within this website. Trusted partners worldwide, obviously very much so crypto-centric. Bitstamp, Circle, Crypto.com, Galaxy, Gemini, Huobi, Nexo, and Liquid. Last but not least, a little bit about Trade Tech here. Trade Tech is a behemoth, not Bohemoth, Bohemian Rhapsody, behemoth as far as some of the organizations involved in this. And you can see right here, not a ton of blockchain initiatives, but you can see this individual who's a co-found of technology and ecosystem development at Zenfin as well. I do think that with ISO 20022, with the trade finance gap, with trade finance initiatives, and kind of the paper inefficiencies that are going on with supply chain, that we're really going to start to see interesting things around some of these assets that have interoperability, that are upgraded to the ISO 20022 standard. And I think Zenfin will certainly be interesting to watch over the coming years. I think right now Zenfin's like a $200 million market cap. Some of these market caps are ridiculous right now, obviously not financial advice, but just goes to show how much of a downturn this market has taken. But we're going to start to see central banks from the that are a part of the BCBS, or Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, which is mass nations, central banks across the entire globe. I think it's 45 right now, and like 4 onlookers. Going to start to be, able to hold 1% of tier 1 assets in crypto. 2024, obviously, within the Credit Suisse document of fully flushed out regulation from those organizations. So it'll be interesting to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, critical place in the market right now. We will certainly watch what happens with price action. Not guaranteeing we don't go lower. Not guaranteeing it bottom might not have been in. I know there's a lot of global macro stuff going on right now, but we're just trying to stay on top of it. And I will talk to you when I talk to you. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody. Bye.